All right, so this is continuing from creating inequalities, right? So yesterday we kind of, oops. Okay. Yesterday we were just reviewing inequalities. We had, our less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And my question yesterday was my riddle. What's less than 3? What's less than 3? Less than 3. What was the answer to that? A heart. Less than symbol. 3. That helps us remember that this symbol is our less than symbol. Okay, the answer to the riddle, what's less than 3? It's a heart. Okay, so keep that in mind if you forget when you're reading these number sentences. If you see the heart kind of forming here, you see this, you're like, oh, that's like the heart. That must be less than, what's less than 3. Okay? So that's old texting language. You guys don't even have to deal with that anymore. You have 1,000 emojis to choose from. So we know our less than greater than's, no problem. How about if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you're going to switch the direction of the inequality. So what should I do to solve this inequality? I need to divide by -2. Because I'm dividing by -2, today is that day. I need to switch the direction of that inequality. We end up with -4, x is greater than -4. Okay. So we do this switch. That's not. We do the switch when we divide by a negative number or multiply. Okay. Good with that one? Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and try to solve this one then. I'm going to let you work on this on your own. Let's solve this right here. Let's see if we can get our solution for x. Remember the rules. Remember specifically this rule about the switch, the negative switch. Okay. Oh, another thing I want to bring up. If you ever get to class and you're like, I need to just walk around the building. I need some fresh air. You're getting tired. Or if you're super, super sleepy, we do have a place to rest next to the counseling room. Just because it's a high-stress school, I want you guys to know that that's okay if you need to do that. If something happened on the drive here, or if you're tired, you didn't sleep, you need some air, just do a lap. Just tell me. Don't just walk out. You just say, I need to take a lap. You go take a lap. Okay, so keep that in mind. Who can help me with the first step? Actually, I need to get some more names. Oh, man. Naomi, help me out. What's our first step?
-6.
You got it. You got it. -6, -6. Those are gone. -3x is greater than or equal to. Let's see. Who haven't I called on for a while? Daniel called you. Floor? I like that. -3. -3. X is, Danny, what is it going to be? X is what?
Wait, what?
Oh, we just divided by -3.
Oh, less than or equal to.
No hesitation. That's perfect. Because, again, we do the switch. We do the switch of the inequality when we have a negative. No problem. No problem. Okay. Thumbs up, sideways, down for solving the inequalities. Okay. That's actually going to be the majority of the quiz on Friday. We'll also have time before the quiz on Friday to go over any other problems. All right. So next is going to be similar to what we just did in the when we were looking at the problems that Simon was bringing up. We're going to now take a peek at this. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Okay, let's look at a couple of these problems. Okay, so, and for those at home, I'm going to post this. Well, actually, I might link it as extra problems if you need to look at more problems. What's nice about this is the CUDA worksheet. So at the very bottom, it has the answers, has a solution. So I'll post this today too on today's post. It's not homework, but if you need to do a couple more, you know, you gotta do it. All right. Let's look at number one. Looks kind of tricky, but we can do it. We're going to follow the same steps for creating the inequality from a word problem. Let's read it carefully. So Keith has $500 in a savings account at the beginning of the summer. He wants to have at least $200 at the end of the summer. Okay. Oh, he withdraws $25 per week for food, clothing, and movie tickets. Man, he's not eating much. It's $25. How many weeks can Keith withdraw money from his account? Okay. That was just the read through. If you're used to doing word problems and they're hard, it's because usually you're like, I read it through once and I just go try to solve it. Right. Let's do this process. Number two. Reread and list the knowns. So we're going to do our knowns. KN. Danny, what's a known?
500,000 savings account.
Okay. $500 at the beginning of summer. And this is our savings. What else do we know? Maybe. Okay. He wants $200 left at the end of summer. Like it, like it. All right, Danny, you got another?
He withdraws $25 per week for food and movie tickets.
Okay, good. Withdrawals. So withdrawals just means you go to the bank to take out some money. He withdraws $25 per week. Good. All right. Can everybody sort through the steps like this? I feel like if you read it, you can see what's given. That could be your knowns. Now we need to find our unknowns. Unknowns. All right, Danny, what don't we know?
Weeks can Keith withdraw money from his account?
Okay. Okay, so how many weeks can he withdraw that $25 a week? Because, you know, if you start with $500, you're taking out $25 a week and you want $200 left over, you have to think about it and say, well, how many of those weeks, how many weeks will I be able to do that? How long will this money last? I need that $200 for books, textbooks or something. One textbook sometimes. Okay, so we know our unknowns. We're going to call this how many weeks? We're going to call it X. That's like the fourth thing today. I should embrace it. I'm going to start flipping things. Let's do number 4. We are going to create an inequality for this. Okay. Now, what do we want to end up with? $200. Just like if we were saving money, I'd put on this side of the equation or inequality the amount I wanted to save. If in this case I want to end up with $200 left over, it better be some kind of computation here, and my answer, or equal to or less than or greater than, has to be 200. So I'm going to put 200 over here. Now we want 200 left over. Is it okay if we end up with $220? That'd be, no?
Yeah.
That'd be all right, right? I think it's always okay to have more money. That's fine. Than you need. Not in a greedy sense. But, you know. When there's money left over, it's not a bad thing. So I'm going to say that we need, this is how much we're going to spend. So this is going to be, let's see. We need the amount we're spending to be greater than or equal to $200. We want $200 left over, so whatever we're spending over here has to be, excuse me. This is how much we're spending. And this over here is how much we need left over. Let's put all the numbers in here. I think it'll make more sense. In fact, put that inequality last. What do you think, Megan? What's your instincts? Good. So we start with 500, and then since we're taking out money, subtract 25. So 500 bucks in the bank, we minus $25 per week. And now all this that we're taking money out, okay? Now I want you to think about this for a second. If I have $500 and I'm subtracting from it, right? Subtracting from it. Now, if I want to end up with 200 left over, right? We need this to be this amount of how much we spent. We need it to be less than or equal to 200. This is a tricky one because, and if you were to put it the other direction and try to solve it, at the end you'd see, when you would do this interpret results, you'd be able to see that was the wrong direction. That did not make sense. The amount that we're going to spend and take from our savings has to be less than or equal to 200 bucks because I want to end up with 200 bucks. Let's solve this. Let's see. Let's go with yeah, Jasmine. Jasmine. Just like an equation. This is a positive 500. Let's look at our chains. X connected to the negative 25 by multiplication. It's connected to way over here, in a sense, by addition because it's a positive number. So let's break the chains. Perfect. Got negative 25x is less than or equal to negative 300. Remind me again, why didn't I change the direction of that inequality? Why didn't I change it? Simon?
Because you didn't divide or multiply by negative.
That's it. That's it. But it looks like that might happen here because what's our last step?
Divide. Well, yeah.
Since it's multiplication, I'm going to divide by everything connected to that variable. So,
Shouldn't it be positive 25?
the reason why it's minus is because here's what we have in our savings. We are subtracting from that $25 per week. If we were adding, this was at, it'd be saying we were depositing 25 bucks, we're earning 25 bucks and putting it, and it would be, after 1 week we'd have 525. But since we're spending it, that's why it's subtraction. But I like this. This is going to cancel. X is?
Is greater or equal to
What is it?
12.
12, right? So it's going to take us 12 weeks, approximately, 3 months. That's pretty good, actually. That's such cheap living there. You can survive for three months on 500 bucks. You're like amazing. Or you're living in an economy of scale where people aren't making that much, I guess. Yeah, you can go to Thailand with $1,000 in a month. You spend a whole month in Thailand for $1,000. So cost of living is really cheap in certain places. Yeah. Okay. Does this work? We solve. Interpret results. Convert units if necessary. Okay. So yes, this makes sense because let's look at it again. 500 bucks. We minus $25 a week for 12 weeks. That allows us to have our answer of having spent less than or equal to 200 bucks. That's all. Thumbs up, sideways down for this problem. Okay, when we see the logic of it, we do it through. We do all right with this. Okay, so now it's 9. Let's see. Okay, thumbs up, sideways down for seeing another problem. Thumbs up means you want to see another problem. Let's do it. I'm gonna do one more. We'll do number 2. You guys will have classwork today, or homework today. You have to do it at home. Don't worry too much. We did some of them in class, so I hope you were writing them down. It's going to be in the workbook. It's going to be the workbook page that. Yeah. 1 through 10, page 43, 44. So, I mean, we did 3 of those together. So I feel like that's pretty good for homework when you work on it. Number 2. All right, step 1, read carefully. A taxi charges a flat rate of $1.75 plus an additional 65 cents per mile. If Erica has at most, is that $10 to spend on the cab ride, how far could she travel? Okay, so we just read it. Let's reread it, and I'm going to get some notes from you. Let's go one known. What do we know? Good. So a flat rate, what does a flat rate mean? Flat rate of $1.75.
That's with taxes.
Actually, a flat rate is once you get in the cab, you're always going to have to pay that $1.75. It's like even if you went a half a block, you got to at least pay the $1.75. And then the additional 65 cents per mile, it's like, yeah, you pay that $1.75, you go 20 miles. Yes, this is a constant. That's a good way to look at it. This is a constant. What else do we know? Who else has another? Simon, what do you have?
65 cents per mile.
Okay, so then it's 65 cents per mile. Perfect. Do we know anything else? What else do we know? All right, keep it going.
She only has $10 to spend.
She's got $10. All right. How far can she travel? First off, whenever you are budgeted an amount of money, remember, like you want to save, end up with $200, or you only have $50 to spend. Remember, this is kind of the limitation. You can't go over this, right? So we're relating to that $10 that we have. So I'm going to put the 10. Oh, I must have. I'm doing step 4 already. Sorry. Step 3. What don't we know? How far? How many miles, right? So how many miles? We'll call that X. Okay, now we're on number 4. I'm going to put that $10 over here. Can we, okay, so this is how much money you have. This is the cost. Can the cost be more than $10? No. Cost has to be less than $10. Could it be equal to $10? It could. So what should I put right here? Perfect. It has to be less than or equal to $10. Now, what should I put over here? What do you think? We had a constant, right? Because once you get in the door, once you sit down, he's like, you owe me $1.75. Hasn't even moved. You just get in, you get a phone call, you got to go back into your work, you still got to pay. All right, and then are we going to add to that the 65 cents per mile or subtract from it? We're going to add to it. Add to it, 0.65. This is per mile. X was how many miles? X. All right, I see some confidence building. It's doing better. All right, let's solve this real quick. I'm going to help you out. Minus $1.75. And we get 0.65x is less than or equal to, what is that, 825? Okay, calculator. Don't try to do this in your head. Don't do long division. Don't do all that. You got to have your calculator for Friday, remember. Let's divide it. Let's divide it. See ya. Oh, wow. That's something. That's like a 12. What is that? Who has a calculator? All right, now help me out. What is that? How many miles?
12.6 miles.
Close. 12.6 miles. All right, let's interpret it. We got it. We're done. Let's see. 12.6 miles. What I like to do is kind of plug it back into the equation, see if it works. So if I have $1.75 and I add to that 0.65 times the 12.6, right? That's going to give me an amount of money, $8.25. And yes, that is less than or equal to 10. We're good. Okay. Thumbs up, sideways down for this whole thing. Feeling good? I like those thumbs. Okay. If you're watching at home, remember that all the problems we were working on right now, just 1 and 2, those are going to be post on Emoto. That is not the homework. Homework is in the workbook, section 1.22, numbers 1 through 10. Okay. Should we just subscribe? You guys haven't done this yet. I want them to subscribe. My 250th gets a Kit Kat. So what I do is I have everybody yell subscribe on 3. Can you do it? So I end the videos with us telling people to subscribe. So we yell subscribe on 3. So when I go 1, 2, 3, then we yell subscribe. Can we do it?
Yes.
It's your chance to yell in class. All right, I need you to subscribe. 250th gets a Kit Kat. Subscribe on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Subscribe!
That's pretty good. I think that's the loudest this class has ever been. That's good. All right, you guys are doing great. Tomorrow we'll have